subscribed, then I cut the cord. Now I'm not online, but I'll be fine. Yeah, I guess that I'll get by. Well, I shaved my head and I grew out a beard, and now I only wear plaid. I always let God steer. I'm moving to LA. I'm writing a screenplay, but it's not about you or what we were. It's about a new girl you've never met her. She's just got your name, and she looks exactly the same. Tell me you know. Tell me it's okay that I dropped right off the map, and I'm falling every day. Tell me you know. Tell me it's okay, 'cause you'll find me anyway. Yeah, if you see me walking by, well, I guarantee it's some other guy, 'cause I'm not there. I'm always elsewhere. I changed my name, I had it approved. They wrote it down, you won't see it soon. I guess you'll see there's not much to me. I guess to me there's not much to see. Tell me you know. Tell me it's okay that I dropped right off the map, and I'm falling every day. Tell me you know. Tell me it's okay, 'cause you'll find me anyway. And now you'll see that there's not much left of me. Well, once I hear I'll cross your path, I'll hurry away, you'll stifle a laugh. It's not that I'm scared, you just caught me unaware. Well, I know it's been a couple of years, but still I'm surprised we ended up here. We'll talk a bit to see what we've lost. You'll stop when you see you're a bit better off. Tell me you know. Tell me it's okay that I dropped right off the map, and I'm falling every day. Tell me you know. Tell me it's okay, 'cause you'll find me anyway. You'll find me anyway.
Hey, good evening, and welcome back to the USA States Cup. Yes, the round of 16 pool has already been released, but we don't care. We're out here. We still got a match to go through, and it is Oklahoma versus Michigan. These two teams meeting once before last year in a decisive matchup, actually, where Oklahoma going all the way to tiebreaker and knocking Michigan out of the tournament last year. So a little bit of a new rivalry between these two teams. Both of these teams pretty decent throughout their time in the USA States Cup, usually finishing somewhere around the quarterfinals and semifinals mark. But notably, Oklahoma not doing so well in the first round matchups, only winning once out of the 5 times participating, whereas Michigan have won half of them out of 8. So looking a little bit better in the early rounds, a little bit better for wear. However, Oklahoma, they do have quite a bit of new blood in them this year, namely the elephant in the room, who you should probably address relatively quickly. That is the name in the bottom left of your screen, TTV UFO. Their new rising star, actually going to be participating in their first USC this year. And of course, big name recently in the open rank scene. Lots of incredible gimmick plays, and overall it's just a really big improvement. Of course, they also do have excuse me, Lights Out, Jeffrey, and Bazinga as longtime returning members, and Haijio and Referee also returning Once again, a couple more recent additions to the roster. I am Bless, and I will be bringing you this cast to you tonight. We also do have the big old chillier pair joining us in a bit. He is a bit preoccupied at the moment, but for now, we will be getting into the warm-ups, as I do also would like to quickly discuss this Michigan roster. We do have some interesting players over here. Of course, Tricky Pugster, a longtime member, and actually the only truly longtime member, is they have a lot of new blood in their team this year from Michigan. Atara, Comlol, and Silboy, all brand new faces to the United States Cup, including two of them being actually 5 digits, Atara and Silboy, both of them playing in that 5-digit scene. Atara winning the 5-digit World Cup minor league this year, and Silboy playing it for the United States C team. So showing some good performances in the rank restricted scene. Going to be seeing what they can do when the ranks become a little bit more open and the competition gets a few magnitudes more tough. But yeah, going ahead and breaking down these teams, as we are in for, I believe, only a single warm-up before we get started. Going to be looking at a pretty solid gimmick roster for Oklahoma, of course, building around their new star UFO. Going to be really strong on all the reading maps, and some of those less conventional mechanical skill sets, such as the alt and the tech. Of course, he's going to be accompanied by excuse me, Hygio. Also really good on those reading and more gimmicky skill sets. And you can be rounding out that gimmick roster with Referee, who is also who's also pretty consistent at low SR, so hopefully breaking their first round curse, or what seems to be a curse for them, as they do tend to struggle a lot in the early rounds historically. Of course, just because they do have a lot of gimmick, it does not necessarily mean they're struggling on the mechanics either, as of course one does not simply get to rank 61 in the world without having hands. So of course, UFL able to play all the mechanics maps as well, going to be accompanied by Bazinga and Jeffrey. Jeffrey in particular, number 2 in the 4-digit World Cup tryouts high SR pool. So definitely able to play lots of different things, and has quite good hands. And of course, is who will most likely be his partner for most of the mechanics maps, Lights Out. Going to be looking to about our Lights Out performance, but we are into the picks and bans already. Tricky Pugster for Michigan opting for second pick. Mr. Jeffrey opting for that second ban. It's just going to be a quick hidden 2 ban for Michigan. The gimmick core for Michigan consisting of those 2 5 digits, Tara and Silboy. Probably not going to be holding up so well when the opposition is looking like UFO Hygio +1. So definitely makes a lot of sense. And then for the other side will be a Nomad 1 ban from Mr. Jeffrey on Oklahoma, banning out some of those straightforward mechanics, potentially target a bit at those lower rank ranges, although this Nomad 1 definitely not the most simple map as we've seen all year. And of course, we do have to mention Hidden 2 going to be completing a full lap around the course, as that is every single match, excuse me, in which Hidden 2 has been banned. So Hidden 2, everyone hating Hidden 2. And it will be Oklahoma to take the first pick. Of course, picks for Oklahoma in that gimmick pool going to be looking for stuff like the Nomad 2, the Nomad 4, and you could say the Free Mod 2 as well. Potentially the hidden one, although yes, it is hidden, but it is quite heavy on the aim. But yeah, after that, they do kind of have to look into some more mechanics-oriented picks. I suppose the DT1 and DT3 do have some funkier elements to them, namely the DT1 with the 1/3 section having some nasty cuts in it, and then the DT3 having, of course, that old-style linear aim, along with some dense overlaps and finger control. But it is going to be a no mod 4 first pick for Oklahoma, and I do have a little bit of inside information about this pick. Lights Out, normally not in for the alt, but I do hear that he has been performing quite well in practice. So there is a good chance we will see him accompanying UFO, and I assume it would be IGO, but it could also definitely be Mr. Jeffrey. Or even referee, as they are quite comfortable on the low SR, but we'll see in just a minute. And from Michigan, it is looking like the two-man core of Typed Diamond and Tricky Pugster is going to be coming in. It's actually going to be Soulboy rounding out the roster if the current lobby situation is anything to be believed. Soulboy, of course, no slouch on the mechanics, and the pool SR is definitely low enough to where he could put up a decent supporting performance. And when you do compare him to some of the other players, Kamlo being more of a speed and DT specialist, and Umar being more of that speed and aim mechanics. So I suppose he is sort of the best of the remaining bunch. And that will lock in the rosters for both teams. It will be Mr. Jeffrey and UFO for Oklahoma, accompanied by Lights Out. Hoping to put that practice to good use, of course. 8581210 going to be a rename of Lights Out. But we are getting into the creator some Air 10 alts, and yeah, I don't think this map needs any introduction. We've seen it plenty of times this weekend. Only one early miss coming out from Typed Diamond. Who you would want to see that is he's supposed to be a part of that two-man main duo alongside Tricky Pugster. But of course, this map is a little bit on the longer side, so no worries yet. 3 minutes and 27 seconds on the clock in total. Here we do go into those 1-2s, the star pattern. Everyone holding comfortably through it into the first Ki. Hitting the slider jumps as well. But that will be the first big miss coming out from Soulboy on the flow alt. Bit unfortunate, and that on top of a bit of an accuracy gap is all three players from Oklahoma holding 99 accuracy is going to result in a 100k score lead already in their favor. Two FCs, or excuse me, one FC and a reverse choke on Typed Diamond still holding on, so should Oklahoma break, there is still some room for Michigan to come back into this map. But it does require them to hold on, and as well as something bad to happen on the side of Oklahoma. But here we go into another one of those jump patterns. Big cross-screen rhombuses. Not going to be catching anyone. Once again, everyone holding strong into the second Ki. And this is the opportunity, where you would look for an opportunity for Michigan to try and bring this back, but the score lead has quickly grown from 100k since we last checked into already almost 300k. The accuracy is further suffering, 97 on Typed Diamond and all the way down at 95 for Soulboy, as he does seem to have found another miss in that last section. And all three combos on Oklahoma still holding incredibly strong. 99s across the board. This is quickly looking to turn into an easy first point for them. Yeah, Oklahoma taking a look back at their history and taking a look forward at their new star player in the center bottom left of your screen, saying that is no longer the team we are. We are looking to start strong on the low SR pools. The only remaining question at this point is if they can fully close out this three-way FC. That would be incredible. Maybe one of the best scores of the weekend, even. Of course, there is Team Carolina up there as well. Just under 3 million, 2.9 million in fact. But there we go, 2.91. Not quite going to be the top score of the weekend on that, but it's pretty darn close. And that is a strong start for Oklahoma. Of course, the pick does go back the way of Michigan now, and we'll see just how they try and attack the Oklahoma team. They're probably just forced to pick into some of the more mechanical maps. Maybe want to investigate on the tapping. There are a few tapping maps in this pool. There's a couple maps that are more dedicated tapping, those being the No-Mod 3 and the Free Mod 3. The DT2, yes, it is speed, but of course having some aim elements, as we did see last night in one of our matches. A double break on aim did end up deciding the point. And then the Free Mod 1 if you want some tapping adjacent, more just general mechanics stuff to poke around. Of course, also probably just the easiest map in the pool. The Free Mod 1 sitting down there almost at 6 stars flat at no mod. But it's going to be the DT1. It's a bit of a surprise considering there are some more gimmicky elements in this. But I will say, after having seen their team sheet, they do have some pretty good scores on this one from a couple of unexpected angles. I think we have some surprises in store from the Michigan side in terms of who's going to be on the roster. Of course, for Oklahoma, this should just be another story of UFO lights out +1. And we do see Mr. Jeffrey in the lobby. Could very well likely be him. Of course, could also see referee just for that low SR consistency. But unsure if that's needed, as Mr. Jeffrey is certainly more than capable of playing this map. Of course, going to have some 200 BPM air 10 jumps, as well as some tapping. A couple longer bursts around 13 to 16 notes. And then those 1/3 sections, some of the awkward cuts on those. Gonna be a bit of a gimmick flavor. Of course, we do love a little bit of gimmick flavor, even in our mechanics. This is the USA States Cup, after all, and we do love Dada for his Dada pooling. And of course, with that Dada pooling, we do get absolute bangers like this one. Vukadao, some Brazilian funk by a Brazilian mapper, pooled by a Brazilian pooler. It's all coming up Brazil, folks. I mean, yeah, even in the World Cup, all coming up all Brazil for them. But we are getting right into things, and it is just the expected trio from Oklahoma, but on the other side, for Michigan, we actually have Type 2 Diamond, Tricky Puckster, accompanied by Atara, another one of their 5 digits. So not seeing Comlol or Umar in yet. And the first to break is actually, once again, going to be Type 2 Diamond now. This map being a bit shorter than the last one. Early misses will have a fairly significant effect on the score. And there goes Atara as well. A small miss aim, and that's just gets him further slingshot the score in the favor of Oklahoma. Almost 200k already, and we, of course, with this being such a short map, we are already halfway through. Into some of those 1/3 flow alt patterns. Not going to be claiming any more lives, but here we go into, I believe, some more streams coming up here. But yeah, this is quickly getting out of hand for Oklahoma. 400k already in their pockets as we are pushing into that last quarter of the map. Some big streams for some combo density, but they will not be catching anyone from Oklahoma. Instead, it's going to be Atara going down. And I know he's going to be a little upset about that one. He does have some nice scores in the locals, but of course, if you can't perform on the big stage, then it's all for naught. And this is one of the biggest of stages, the USA States Cup. And that is almost a 1,000,000 score in the favor of Oklahoma, as they barely fail to close out the 3-way FC. Only lights out missing right into the ending there. And a break point will lead to a quick 2-0 lead for Oklahoma. And yeah, this is a bit of a sticky situation Michigan have found themselves in already, losing the mechanics so handily. I mean, that is twice in a row that Oklahoma have almost 3-way FC'd. A 3-way FC on the Nomad 4, and then almost basically a 3-way FC on the DT1 just now. So not a good start for Michigan. And Oklahoma, yeah, with a new fresh coat of paint, looking to flip the script on their history and show a really good performance in the first round. And they are off to a very good start. Be waiting on their pick. Probably could go into something like a Nomad 2. In terms of alt picks, that is basically the end of the story. I mean, Hardock won technically at what might be considered an alt BPM, up at 260, and some of the wide angle quote-unquote flow alt patterns might come off as alt. But for these players, it really is just some more aim. But it will be Fremont 2, the other remaining gimmick map. We are getting some more Jinkala. Jinkala, I do believe, had some interesting stats about that one as well. And yeah, picked in 12 out of, I believe, 15 matches now, as this is the 15th match going on. So that would be 13 out of 15 matches. Very much so loved by everyone. And I mean, what's not to like about this map? What is not to love about Jinkala? Everyone's going to be farming some social credit here, and I think we might even be seeing some interesting mod combinations, as Hygio and UFO already looking at those two players. A couple obvious picks for some shenanigans with that easy mod. But actually not seeing either of them, excuse me, not seeing Hygio in the lobby. We will see UFO in the lobby, however, accompanied by referee and Bazinga, referee being their other fill gimmick player. A little bit surprised not to see Hygio, seeing referee in for him. But Jinkla does have a few funky patterns, of course, and maybe referee just feeling a little bit more consistent. As for Bazinga, probably in for that Hardock mod, and I'm guessing that means we won't be seeing an easy flashlight. Of course, easy flashlight being the replacement for the Hard Rock. On the side of Michigan, we're going to be seeing Tricky Puckster and Typed Diamond as usual. And it's going to be Soulboy coming in for the easy. Of course, 5 Digits famous for not expanding their skill set vertically, but instead horizontally, and going to be pretty proficient on the gimmick mods such as the easy. Here we are into things. Going to be referee on the hidden, matched by Tricky Pugster in the bottom right. And Typed Diamond on the Hard Rock, matching Bazinga is dead. We do have the 2 easies in the middle. Soulboy going up against UFO. Does take some balls to try and match UFO on the easy, but of course, low SR, there's only so much score you can get. And do seem to be getting a lot of it, and it's actually going to be a couple early misses coming out on the side of Oklahoma. Referee and Bazinga is dead, missing in that early intro section. It's going to give a small advantage to Michigan, but once again, these accuracies on the side of Oklahoma. Referee at 99% accuracy, and Bazinga also almost at 99. Going to be putting a pretty big dent in the score lead, and especially there goes Soulboy misaiming on the little pentagon burst. You really don't want your easy player to be missing on those. But actually, it does look like we've seen a double break from Referee and Bazinga as well, so that will keep things fairly in check, but we're already quickly approaching the end of the map. It is still incredibly close, just 30k the difference, and we're into the ending jumps. But it looks like that miss right at the end from Typed Diamond ended up being fatal, and the score will not quite go over to Michigan, instead edging back towards the side of Oklahoma at the last moment. And yeah, unfortunately, some of these accuracies gonna end up being incredibly punishing for Michigan, all the way down at 94% for Typed Diamond, as opposed to the 98 for Bazinga. You know, maybe if he had a little bit better ac, if he was able to match the accuracy of Bazinga's dead, 100k would have been enough. But unfortunately, that is not the case. And of course, that is before. Now, I do believe the easy mults are counted in now. So yes, it was just a raw difference of 80, 90k or so that potentially could have been made up by that hard rock accuracy. Soulboy, of course, dropping a little bit of a noobs in chat. Not happy about missing on that pentagon burst. And that is Oklahoma's second pick working out for them. 3-0 up, and Michigan, if they do drop another break point here, things are quickly going to go from bad to worse. They do really have to think carefully about their next pick. The DT1 not working out for them in the slightest, but in addition to all of that, the general trend we've seen so far across these 3 maps is that Oklahoma, their accuracy is just so much better across the board. Triple 99 on the Nomad 4, almost a triple 99 on the DT1, and of course another big accuracy difference that did potentially end up being fatal in the free mod 2 just now. So maybe going to go for something that has some more potential for combo breaks on both sides, and hope they can get a little bit better of a combo. But normally that would be one of the longer maps like the Nomad 4, but the entire side of Oklahoma just looking so comfortable, not looking like they're going to break at all. So they will look for something else, and that something else will be the Nomad 5. We got some speed, some Ryusei Aika speed. Not necessarily known for the speed maps normally, but I guess he does have this one. Yeah, this is just going to be some 231 BPM long bursts. Fairly standard map stats elsewhere. CS4 Air 9.6, OD 8.6. And we are looking at a length of just over 2 minutes. So maybe not necessarily going for a consistency check, trying to get more misses, but just going for more of a raw tapping check. And, well, given that this skill set hasn't been quite fully tested yet, it does seem to be a good way of trying to poke some holes into this Oklahoma roster. Of course, the DT1 having a little bit of tapping in it, some 200 BPM long bursts, 13 to 16 notes, but of course, very different from some Nomad speed. We do have rosters in the lobby. It's going to be the evergreen duo of Tricky Pugster and Typed Diamond, accompanied by maybe Umar, maybe Comlol. I do know both of these guys do play a lot of DT in their own time, but I do believe Comlol is a little bit more specialized when it comes to speed stuffs. So it does look like it's going to be him. On the other side for Oklahoma, of course, not going to be a lot of changes for them. TTTV, UFO, still in the lobby, Lights Out back in the lobby, and Mr. Jeffrey to close out their trio, or round out their trio. Right, I mean, of course, speed maps being as they are, bit of a Nothing Burger intro, but it was a very short Nothing Burger intro, and we are getting into the thick of things quite quickly. Just some finger control to start us off. Not too many longer bursts, but we should see some longer ones as the map goes on. It is once again going to be the accuracy that gives the advantage to Oklahoma early on. 299s on the bottom row, and it's just UFO finally getting back up there to 99. Tricky Pugster looking to do quite well for himself, almost an SS, but there's a couple sporting combos from Comlol and Type Diamond, not quite there, especially the combo from Comlol already finding a miss some point, but it was traded out by Mr. Jeffrey around the same time. So the combos are quite similar. Still, this accuracy giving an advantage to Oklahoma, and especially not going to be helped by another miss from Comlol. And Mr. Jeffrey steadily finding his recovery as we head into that break. And the second half of the map begins, already almost 100,000 score. Of course, there is still room for a company should one of these come back, should one of UFO or Lights Out miss, but you know, this is just looking like a Lights Out performance from Oklahoma so far. They are not missing. Tricky Pugster and Typed Diamond still holding on, but yeah, if we're just in a stalemate here, then Oklahoma will continue to win. And a stalemate it shall be, as this score lead is already far too gone. Oklahoma going to secure another break point, and that will put them on a fast match point as they do look to reverse the tides of history with their new blood. Unfortunately, the new blood from Michigan being wiped away, overwritten by that of Oklahoma, as the mere presence of UFO in the lobby seems to be invigorating his team to some incredible accuracies. Once again, a triple 99. Tricky Pugster finally able to match the accuracies there, 4 100s and a singular 50. But the support from the rest of his team just not quite there. And after winning that tapping, it's going to be a quick Nomad 2 pick from Jeffrey. Or, excuse me, that is the second time I've mixed the Nomad 2 and Nomad 3 of this pool this week. 2 days in a row. Good job, me. But, yeah, no, this one's just going to be some tech. Basically the last real hard gimmick map of the pool. As we have gone through the Jinkala, we have gone through the Creator, and of course the Hidden 2 maintaining its 100% ban ratio. So that does leave Glacier Fall as the final gimmick map of the pool. We've seen this map plenty of times this weekend. Actually, I can even get the exact number. We've seen it 9 times to be precise. So another map that seems to be quite favored among the players this tournament. Of course, I'm sure this map needs no introduction at this point, as we've already seen 14 other matches go through, and 9 of those 14 having this picked. But just for good measure, this is some big circle tech. It's going to be CS3. Of course, with tech, it is going to have some weird rhythms to it, but more than the real or the weird rhythms, we're going to have some fat sliders, and you really can't aim them normally. You kind of just have to look for those slider ticks. I hope you have a skin that shows them properly, because you can't find those slider ticks. You will just break twice in the beginning. We do have the players into the lobby, loading into the map. Of course, UFO gonna look to round out that perma lobby, complete the victory lap. Gonna be accompanied by little brother Hygio, another gimmick player, and Mr. Jeffrey. Once again, on the other side for Michigan, Typed Diamond and Tricky Pugster, of course, the evergreen duo from them. And it's going to be another one of their 5 digits, Atara, in for the gimmick, the 5-digit specialty. And here already seeing one of those weird sliders. Everyone successfully cheesing them, but as we've seen time and again this matchup, the slight accuracy lead giving the smallest of advantages to Oklahoma, and of course, it is just the intro. But the intro is a sign of things to come as we do get into this first KI section. Nobody getting caught out just yet, but of course at the end of this KI section we do have some funky back and forths. Another one of those big sliders, still not catching anyone out, and so, but here they come, the 1-6, and there goes Typed Diamond, gonna be getting tripped up. Excuse me, not the 1-6, the 1-3, and he will be the first and only combo to fall so far. As, you know, having repeated troubles in the early stages of the maps, looked a bit better in this one, but unfortunately not able to hold combo long enough, and there goes Atara falling right behind him in line. Gonna be traded out by Hygio, but this is already a 200k score lead, and we're already into the final third of the map. UFO and Mr. Jeffrey looking so comfortable, both of them at 98 accuracy. Incredibly impressive on this. It's gonna be Mr. Jeffrey getting caught out on what some of these 1/3 snap aim patterns. Dropping a combo, so there's actually a bit of room for recovery here, I want to say, but no, Atara has dropped his combo on the same section, and although Tricky Pugster is matching the FC from UFO, Typed Diamond's recovery, albeit slightly bigger than that of Hygio's, not looking like enough at the moment. Now, Hygio will drop his recovery, but unfortunately we are at the end of the map already, and that is a 150k in favor of Oklahoma, and I think that will be enough to close it out, especially as the recovery of Atara continues to drop. Not enough speed to bring the score back in their favor, and that is going to be a 5-0 sweep for the higher seed of Oklahoma, putting their finger in the face of history, saying, no, we will not continue to suck in these early stages. This year is our year. We have our new star player, and they will be the shining light that guides us to victory. So Oklahoma can be moving on in that upper bracket to the round of 16, and quite confidently at that. And Michigan, unfortunately, going to be dropping down to that loser's bracket, where they look to continue the run. Now, that will be all for the broadcasts this week. That was our final match, and of course, Pool Showcase has already happened a few hours ago. Pool is on sheet. Yes, it is on sheet, so hope you guys have fun practicing that, and we'll see you next weekend. Thank you so very much for watching. I've been Bless. Of course, thank you to Keys for providing the stream for us all, and we'll see you next time. Have a good night.